Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Reels and Heels, episode 21. Seriously, episode 21.
21.
Wow, we're legal enough to drink.
Pass the bottle.
Yeah.
Man, you should have bought us a six-pack, Brian.
Yeah. So today is well, it's pretty much going to be thrown out the window, I think.
Today is Saturday, Brian. That's what today is.
Our animation celebration, but as we've been known to, run the asylum here.
We don't ever do that. We stay on topic all the time.
Remember, it's coming from a teacher's lips, guys. She knows what she's talking about.
Wait a minute, Ryan, the last time the two of us was on the show, what did it run, 4 hours?
Yeah, it was like longer than one of Peter Jackson's extended cuts of one of his Lord of the Rings.
I worked a full shift and managed to come on the last hour.
Yeah, that's what happens, man. Man, we were longer than Peter Jackson's own movies.
So today, we have a pretty good comic book creator that wanted to join us. And Rodney, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself to everyone?
He's having regrets now.
Yeah.
I think I'm a pro now. I've been doing this so much the last.
I'll cosplay one of his
6 weeks.
characters and everything will be okay.
Excellent.
There you go. So my name is Rodney Fike, and I am a comic creator, writer, artist, colorist, inker, letterer. Pretty much everything. I've been doing it off and on since '90. About 30 years. And my current project is Roadkill Rampage. We have a live Kickstarter right now. So if anybody would like to go out and check out the Roadkill Rampage Kickstarter and back it, that'd be awesome. If you don't want to back it, please share it. That's worth its weight in gold. And you can go to Hazm.com. It's HAZZUM.com and check out our website for all of my other books, Peanut Pudding and Jelly, Pitter Patter, and bunch of other stuff. There's a blog there that it's called Back in the 90s, where I reminisce about the 90s.
Nice.
And yeah, there's a creator section and all kind of stuff, sections for all the books and characters and stuff. So go check it out. Nice. And that's me, and that's what I do. And I did a book back in the 90s this is for Ryan, called The Superior Seven, that he's a big fan of now.
I think we all are.
Yeah, we all are. We were talking about a brief synopsis of it before the show, and I'm like, yep, I know what I'm going to buy next for summer's almost over because I have to go back to school. Not this week, but the following week. So it's like, well, I got some fall reading I got to do now, son.
There you go. 5 issues of 90s bliss.
Oh, yes. That's when I really started collecting a lot of comics, was in the 90s. I mean, we had Marvel was releasing everything, and you had the creation of Image, and I had just about every Spawn comic that there was.
Spawn. There you go.
That was a crazy time.
You kids.
But it was a fun time.
Yeah, well, Jerome probably had all the really what we would call the holy grails.
Yeah, he's had comics since the 1850s, so
my first comic book collection was in 1968.
Woo, man! Wow. That was during the Sean Connery James Bond era.
And then my dad made me sell it because we were moving. I restarted in '79.
Oh, there you go.
Cool. So I'm not the oldest one here this time.
No. I'm usually the oldest one.
All right.
Jerome is our wise sage.
No, I'm not that wise. Trust me, I'm not that
maybe
wise.
Not wise, but he is a sage.
Ryan's the baby of us all.
I know. I'm
Aw.
sadly too young to remember anything. That's the
Just a
problem.
baby.
I am. I'm in my 30s. Call it what you will.
See, I gotta give Ryan some of the classic films from the 1930s and 40s to watch. Also, he needs a really good education on quality films.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything from the 30s or 40s unless it's Universal monster movies or Casablanca.
Okay, we need to get you into what they call film noir.
I love film noir. I've seen Maltese Falcon.
Forget Maltese Falcon. Find one called The Third Man with Orson Welles.
Fair point. I need to see that.
Yeah, it's a dynamite one. It's sort of the quintessential film noir movie.
Dynamite! All right, I'll keep it in mind.
So,
I'm sorry,
Rodney,
Brian. Where were we on the
Yeah,
script?
sorry,
What
we were
page are
talking about something else,
Yeah, what page are we on your 37-page script, Brian?
No, no script today. But Rodney,
God.
Really,
what
I'm
is it
shocked.
that made you fall in love with like animation?
Oh, geez.
How much time you got, Brian?
Yeah, Disney going to. We were actually talking about this last night. We would go to the movie theater, and they would always have a double feature. It would be Bud Knobs and Broomsticks, and Robin Hood, or Cinderella and Snow White, or whatever. Herbie the Love Bug and Sword and a Stone. And for a 5-year-old, 6-year-old kid, that was magic. It was before Pixar and computer animation and all that stuff, and it was just a world of wonder for me. And then Star Wars hit, and it was all over.
Darn Ewoks.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's Walt Disney's fault.
Walt Disney.
Well, they do own everything now, so blame you,
do,
Walt.
do you have a favorite Disney animation?
Are we going Pixar? Does that include or just Disney straight animation?
Everything. Well, we can go old school. I mean,
I'm gonna probably say I really enjoyed The Jungle Book.
Ooh,
Oh, good
call.
pick.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, some dynamite music in there too.
Oh yeah, I even now I walk around singing the bare necessities
Nice.
until somebody yells at me to shut up. But
I keep singing the monkey song there about I want to be
like you.
Yeah.
I want to be like you.
so many really great characters in that movie. A
Bagheera.
lot of goofiness and fun and just the scenery, the background of the jungle and all that stuff. Just gorgeous, mesmerizing.
Ka the snake
kid.
hypnotizing you. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Love that snake, man.
trust in me.
In me.
Into my. I was gonna say true story. When I lived in Vegas, I saw Louis Primo Jr. at the Rio, which is the son of Louis Primo, who was the voice from in the Jungle Book, and he's done other animations too. It sounded just like his father. Right? It was uncanny.
Nice.
That's cool. Sweet.
And he sang some of the songs from the Jungle Book, which was pretty cool.
Was he at a show? Was he at a show, a convention or something?
No, he had a what do you call it? Like a night show? Yeah, it was a house show. It was a nightly show. He was there for like I don't know, 5 years. Residency. Yeah. And it was pretty much a packed house, like every night.
Right on.
Yeah. So Ryan, what about you? Do you have a favorite thing about animation?
I mean, I don't know, Brian. I was born in something called the 80s, been raised in the 90s, so I know a thing or two about Disney because I've seen a thing or two. So with that being said, I mean, when it comes to animation, I think one of the first films I saw that made me fall in love with Disney or animated films in general was a little indie film called Aladdin. To me, Aladdin is the GOAT of Disney animated films. You got gone way too soon, Robin Williams as the immortal genie. He's never going to die. You got Scott Weinger, who was Steve in one of my favorite sitcoms when I was a youngling, known as Full House, who ate all the sandwiches and the peanut butter in the fridge. You got Linda Larkin as the beautiful Jasmine. I mean, you can't go wrong, boy. Aladdin is the GOAT. So yeah, Aladdin has made me fall in love with animation. I mean, you got Aladdin's, you got Lion Kings, you got Little Mermaids. It's a plethora smorgasbord of Disney Renaissance. So yeah, Brian, that's how I fell in love with animation.
What about you, Jerome?
Well, I started with Saturday morning cartoons and Warner Brothers cartoons. You know, Bugs is my man, but you know, my favorites are, you know, when he always ran into Marv Martian and Taz.
Yep.
And so all those Saturday morning cartoons from the late '60s to the mid '70s, those were, you know, just golden age of stuff, you know, that we today not appreciated. And then you'd have the Saturday afternoon matinees, where I was at, and you know, like Rodney would say, you'd get a double feature. And for the Disney, mine was, you know, like he stated earlier, was Bedknobs and Broomsticks. For two reasons. One, the soccer game alone, okay, was worth it. And then as an adult, I went back and rewatched it and saw that that movie had to have inspired Sam Raimi's Army of Darkness. There's a scene in there with the armor marching against the Nazis, and it looks so similar to the March of the Deadites in Army of Darkness. That's for you, Ryan. There, you know.
You know,
So,
now that you put it in my brain, I could actually see that.
I think we're gonna have to make him watch Army of Darkness.
Yeah, I know. I've never seen an Evil Dead movie. I'm behind on
oh
my
man, Army
education.
of
Oh,
Darkness, man.
God.
Bruce
I know.
Campbell is God.
Okay, I think we need to teleport Ryan right
I know,
here
yeah.
and tie him to my chair, and then he can
Yep.
watch.
I was just gonna say
I
that.
have two
If
words
you want to
for
kick,
Ryan.
I don't like this movie, but if you want to kick it a Clockwork Orange style and just have my eyes open for 27,000 hours on end, feel free. Even though the Clockwork Orange is one of the most disturbing films I've ever
It
seen
is.
in my life.
Two words for Ryan though. Bubba Hotep.
Yes!
Okay.
Okay. I need to see it to understand the
I
references, but yeah.
I met Bruce Campbell on my birthday during my divorce. He was pushing Bubba Hotep, and as his response was, "B movies do not get released; they get paroled." So yeah, so Bubba Hotep and Army of Darkness. You can't go wrong with those two films.
Got it.
Yes, Bubba Hotep. I mean, Ossie Davis as JFK.
It was his last film too.
Oh man.
Wow.
So, and Bruce Campbell as Elvis.
Mm.
You can't go wrong. You know.
Yeah. What about you, Willow? What drew you to animation?
Well, okay. I was born in a magic time in the 80s where I remember pretty much all of it.
That's cool. That's fine.
82. So I had a chance to relive, you know, the Jetsons, the Flintstones, all the great classic cartoons, as well as the newer stuff. But you know what? I will always be, you know, Jetsons and Scooby-Doo fan as well. That art just amazes me. The voice acting in that time, top notch.
You gotta come watch our show then, Willow.
I have watched a couple episodes. Actually, the funny thing is, we have a building here in Winnipeg that actually kind of resembles the Jetsons building.
Oh, jeez.
I love it so much.
Meet George Jetson.
Sorry, Gwen.
His boy Elroy. I'm sorry. Got the theme song stuck in my head now. That's what happens.
But I
That's
mean,
what
like the music from that time was phenomenal,
Mhm.
and just I don't know. It's really hard now. I'll watch a cartoon now, and it's like the art does not compare to the way they did art back in the 60s.
Oh
and
yeah,
70s.
oh yeah. Willow, go check out Johnny Quest opening theme music.
Oh my god.
Oh, Johnny Quest. I've
I
heard a
love
lot
Johnny
about him
Quest.
over the last
Oh,
4
yeah.
decades.
Yeah, Johnny Quest was one of my favorites. I
They
even liked,
they even used him in Incredibles too.
That's awesome.
If you watch Dash is watching the TV, and it's Johnny Quest episodes.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Wow.
I gotta tell Mark about that.
A little bit of nods to the past.
And I was actually surprised when they rebooted the Johnny Quest cartoon, which it even had a following, and I liked that one. And then they, of course, I think it got canceled or it was done, but that's something I would like to see come back.
You and Mark need to have a conversation.
They tried bringing Johnny Quest back in like the 90s.
Yes, they did.
And it just wasn't a very, very good show.
Well, what was it? The animation was sort of computer animation and it wasn't very good. And let's be honest, bringing back the fact that Race supposedly had an illegitimate daughter just didn't quite work. Because everybody thought Dr. Quest and Race,
Yeah.
Man.
What's on that non-existent script of yours, Brian? Because I see you writing there pretty profusely.
Yeah, he is.
You're writing something down in
That's
that
Nicole.
little
Nicole's writing, it looks like school.
He's trying to figure out a way to trip me up.
Don't bring Jerome and Ryan onto the show ever again.
No, Nicole's
Exclamation point.
ordering pizza for everyone, so you should
nice.
expect something to come to your door in 30 minutes or less.
That's great, man. Thanks for the Grubhub, Brian.
So,
We have to feed children.
where do you guys want to start with animation? Do you want to talk about Hanna-Barbera? Do you want to talk about some Looney Tunes? Do you want to talk about something new? I mean, what?
Well, it depends upon your definition of what you're looking for. If you're looking for the TV shows, are you looking for the films? I mean, there's the shorts that Warner Brothers used to do before films were done. I mean, where do you want to go with this?
Well, let's go ahead and start there then. The shorts.
Great, we're going to be here for 4 hours, ladies and gentlemen.
No, we
And,
can't be here.
and I'm the one who has to leave early to help moderate a panel later on. So
No, we got to go to the airport today. Be there by 5:30. So no
Yay.
4 hours go today.
gee willikers, thank you,
All right.
Brian.
So 3.5.
We're going to go
Go
3.5
ahead, Jerome. Do you want
hours.
to talk about those shorts that were in front of the movies?
Well, the most famous ones are the Bugs and Crew shorts. Basically, what would happen is you'd show up at the movies, you'd get a newsreel that would, basically tell you what's going on because television wasn't around then. You would get a short film, usually a music video of some type, with music, dance, etc. Then you would get some more music, the cartoon short, a number of trailers, and then you'd get your feature film. Okay, if you were lucky, then you'd get the double feature, which basically means you weren't going home till about 2 a.m. Okay, and basically it was a night. If you want a good example of this, in the 1990s, when they re-released Robin Hood, Errol Flynn's Robin Hood, they did what they called Universal's Night at the Movies. Okay, that's where Tom and Jerry got their start. Also, was these shorts. Okay, so that was where they all started, and that's how Bugs and Crew and Daffy and Porky and all of them got their start. Was these shorts from the 1930s and 40s.
Wow.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, a night at the movies. Basically, when you said dinner and a movie,
I wish we'd go back to that. In all honesty, I wish that we'd go back to that because.
Well, it's better than the 20 extra minutes of previews you're going to get when you walk back into theaters, whenever movie theaters actually reopen or whatever.
well, Pixar was doing that for a while with a number of their shorts before the films.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I loved Bounding. Okay.
Yes.
That was hysterical. But that's what they were doing. But they would also, Ryan, do trailers for other films, but they were usually for just like 2 or 3 films from that studio that was producing that film. You wouldn't get other studios' trailers. And so that would be, dinner and a movie meant you would go out to dinner about 6 o'clock, go to the theater about 7, and you wouldn't leave the theater till almost 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. So it was a serious date night when you went to dinner and a movie.
Oh, it was serious. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's funny that you talk about, date night, dinner, and a movie. My muse, I guess he is, Don Campia. His plan is you go to the movie
I
first.
don't know if I'm okay
And
with him
then-
being your muse.
Did I use the wrong word?
Is this an experiment, Brian, that we're not aware of?
I don't know. Did I use the wrong word? I think I used the wrong word.
My definition of muse is much different, but I guess it's
Idol?
Okay.
Idol?
Yeah,
The
Idol
Idol's
might be better.
If you take your date to the movie first and then go to dinner, because then you have something to talk about.
Oh, you mean John Campia's Keys to Dating Life? Yeah. I read that book. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good book, man. It's a good book. It's really good advice. I completely understand.
Well, yeah, but you could also tell about a person, depending upon, what film they recommended also, to go see.
Mm-hmm.
Now you see
Whether
the
they
thing
like it or not.
in Captain America: First Avenger, you see the newsreel that they would show you sometimes.
Oh yeah.
And you can find the newsreels and stuff like that on YouTube for no problem. But the shorts, those animated shorts, actually made bigger impressions than people actually thought.
Yeah. What about the actual commercials the theaters would have for the refreshments? It would be like the
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby.
Let's go to the lobby to get ourselves a drink. See, this is why I'm here, Brian. I got to set up pipes too. I can sing for you.
And a lot of that animation was done by the same people that were working for WB and the group that sang the song. I can't remember. They were a famous.
You can see some of those animations in the background of Grease.
Yeah.
The movie Grease when they're in the movie when they're in the drive-in.
Yeah, actually, The Outsiders too.
Yep.
Yeah, The Outsiders. They had that too.
Oh wow. Yeah, there was. Let me see. There was Let's Go to the Lobby. There was also. I remember this when it was General Cinemas. It was the band playing, but it was like candy and stuff playing, and there was. It would be like a big number, and the soft drink was going out with the popcorn on a date. And then they would ask him to go into the lobby and get extra candy. So he would go in and get extra candy, and then come back in there, and then she gives him a kiss, and then his popcorn, he gets a little excited. Not to get into adult humor, but that does happen in this animated short aimed at kids.
The Schoolhouse Rock animation, that's very much similar to all that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was done though on a shoestring budget, because that was done by they had to cover something for education, or they lose licenses. So they did this, and
Rock.
And how did we know it would turn out so good?
I mean,
I know all of my grammar because of Schoolhouse Rock.
Yeah, junction. What's your function? Yeah, you know it. You know the song, people. You're watching this at home. You're thinking, what is Ryan talking about? No, you know what Ryan's talking about. You know
it's your Planet Janet.
Video in my head with the trains.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. Science stuff too. That was really cool.
Mm-hmm. And the bill?
Hey, here's the thing about Schoolhouse Rock. The song "I Am Just a Bill." In the 1990s and even in the late 80s, they used that song to explain to the interns at the House and Senate how the process worked.
That's great. It's great education, ladies and gentlemen. Look
That sounds about right.
really, we still need to have that education.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's going on nowadays with COVID-19?
Yeah, and now you know why we're where we're at.
Yeah, we got problems.
No. We needed to come back because when they stopped, that's how we got to where we're at.
Yeah, because we're the last generation of kids, I think, that really ever watched it. Like us.
Yeah.
Now,
like our general age.
Yeah. The Simpsons did a parody about that, too.
Well, they do a parody about just about anything.
Okay, I don't think we should take The Simpsons for educational value.
No, The Simpsons are a hard PG-13 / rated R animated show. That's what they are.
I do have to say though, I think the Simpsons are pretty much psychic because they
predicted a lot. They predicted that Disney was going to buy Fox.
Yep.
Didn't they predict Donald Trump too?
Yes.
Yep.
See, I wonder if that was before or after. So several of the writers quit though.
Oh, well.
One of the artists, Lance Wilder, who used to be in charge of backgrounds, and now is one of their major artists. He grew up around here. He and I were in the Boy Scouts together.
No kidding.
Yeah, and if you had asked me when he was a kid if he'd go on to become this great artist, I would say he'd be lucky to be alive. He was that kind of kid.
Was he the one that was doing like gymnastics off of the jungle gym and stuff?
No, he was just he thought he was one of these tough gangster kids
Oh,
from the back in the mid '80s.
Yeah.
so I think we should let the girls talk about the 80s cartoons that they grew up on.
Where would you like to begin, Nicole?
Nice segue, man. Great segue, buddy.
Because there was lots of interesting cartoons
just
back
to
in the
preface
80s.
this, like I did watch boy cartoons. It's not like I didn't watch like just whatever was on. I watched
Gem and the
whatever was on TV.
holograms.
But I did watch a considerable amount of Gem and the Holograms.
Hey, that was an amazing cartoon, by the way. I will support it. I will stick up for Gem and the Holograms because of my upbringing of being in foster care. It was about a woman who took care of foster children.
And essentially, they were all outcast. I think that's what a lot of girls kind of was drawn to, because we didn't all feel like we belonged with the group that, like I don't have a group. Never mind. But
what? Wait, you mean that the '80s glam rock outfits didn't appeal to you?
I totally love glam rock, but let's just be honest. It's like I wasn't part of any group until there was like a group of us that were together, and it made a lot of sense that would be something that we wouldn't want to watch. But I also watched a lot of Gummy Bears. I watched a lot of Care Bears. I watched a lot of Scooby-Doo, and pretty much any Hanna-Barbera, like the Jetsons. And I watched an exorbitant amount of
Raccoons was another big one.
What?
Really?
What was it? What'd you say?
Raccoons.
I don't think I watched that one. What was that one?
Willow was.
I'm sorry, I'm a Canadian. I don't know if that reached you guys.
No,
down in the
it
States.
did.
You know what?
It did.
It did, because also Kissy Fur. Kissy Fur was a Canadian cartoon, and I watched Kissy Fur.
Okay.
Yeah. No,
But I
Willow,
watched Pepper
Raccoons
too,
reached us.
so.
It reached us.
Because the Raccoons had like an amazing soundtrack. They had amazing art. The voice acting again was incredible. It just the whole production of that show kept me glued to my TV every Sunday.
And I think we'd be remiss if I didn't talk about the fact that Sleeping Beauty was my favorite Disney long movie. And I still have the video VHS where there's a hole burnt in it. So I'm watching it a lot. And so I don't know why. Like, she's my princess, which doesn't make any sense because I hate food. But she makes a lot of sense to me. There's like this innocence, and then, somebody slays the dragon who happens to be an evil whatever. And yeah, it's kind of like a scenario for my life. But anyways, what else?
What about like Rainbow Bright or Strawberry?
I watched Rainbow Bright. I watched a lot of Rainbow Bright.
Strawberry Shortcake?
Strawberry Shortcake.
Don't forget the early version of the ponies.
Yes. Like the real My Little Ponies.
Uh-huh.
Not the weird.
My wife was a big fan of Gem and the original My Little Ponies.
I'm posting a link in the chat of my Gem costume.
Oh my goodness. Man, we're really.
Oh, I want to see that.
We're going retro, people. This is the best thing about this show. We always.
The thing is,
turn
you don't
back
see,
the clock.
You don't see a lot of people
Wuzzles.
cosplaying Gem.
The Wuzzles. I remember the Wuzzles.
Now, there was another cartoon that I remember briefly. It was around the same time that Captain Planet was on.
Oh yes, I remember Planeteers.
Smoggies.
Oh yeah.
I watched
Smoggies.
Captain Planet.
Captain Planet was an awesome show.
Captain Planet has one of the best and catchiest theme songs you're ever going to hear
Yep.
on the show. I mean, come on. They're going over where each kid is from, and at the end of the show, they're just telling you how to save the planet by doing 2 steps at a time. It's insane. And you could be a Planeteer if you ever got the Planeteer T-shirt. So it's Captain Planet.
What
I was
else?
there. That was fun.
Oh, Darkwing Duck. I watched a
Yeah.
lot
Oh,
of
yes.
Duck.
Jim Cummings, baby. Jim Cummings, the legend. He
I
voiced
got
how many?
an autograph with
400
him.
characters.
Oh,
Jim Cummings is a beast.
I'm the terror that flaps in the night.
no.
You know, I actually had him sign an 8x10 that says, "To Ryan, let's get dangerous."
Oh, you betcha.
Nice.
DW. I mean, come on, guys.
I'm waiting for Disney to release the 3rd volume.
Oh, they still
including-
haven't done that?
No. And I'm waiting for the Devil episode.
Oh,
Jeez. Disney, get
Goslin-
on it. Give the Darkwing Duck fans what they want.
Goslin sells her soul to the devil.
Wait a minute, that's a real thing?
Yeah, you can
Oh.
find it on YouTube. It's
Is it on
hysterical.
YouTube? All right, I got to see this. Boy, that sounds like Paranormal Activity waiting to happen. But
Disney pulled it. Was aired one time. Disney pulled it and won't let it be seen again.
gee willikers.
Okay.
Man, I'm learning all kinds of new things about DW.
Okay, Willow, where's your guitar?
I didn't make one.
Oh.
I should actually use my Guitar Hero stuff. I have
There
been
you
looking.
go.
Yeah, Guitar Hero. I remember that game. Yeah.
Do you guys remember the cartoon that was made from a very popular? I don't know if it consider a sitcom, but Punky Brewster. They made a animated-
Oh yeah.
Watched it
Yeah, I
A
remember
little
it.
bit.
a
Yeah, I
lot.
watched-
I
I
watched
watched
a
an
lot.
episode and walked away.
Probably,
Yes.
it's probably why I am the way I am. Like,
Oh boy.
TV was a babysitter. Like, sorry, but it was.
Yep.
Okay, you want bad shows. How many of you remember the Gary Coleman show?
Yep. I remember that.
Okay.
What you talking about, Jerome?
No. Gary Coleman's an angel trying to make good things.
Oh, I
No.
see.
Well,
Nope. I don't
Never heard of
remember
it.
that one.
I just remember him in different strokes. That's
Did
it.
his parents steal all that money too?
I have no idea.
Ooh.
I remember watching part of it and walking away going, "Oh my god."
What
know?
just happened?
Exactly.
so Rodney, did your love for like animation and Disney and all that kind of inspire you to get into comic books?
Yeah, it was kind of just what I was into. Anything to do with art, comics and animation, movies, just all of that kind of rolled into one ball and culminated into me wanting to do my own comics. So yeah, I bought the Disney's Illusion of Life book when I was probably 13 years old, and I had a yellow highlighter, and I would highlight all those important lines to me, and you know the villain is just as important as the hero, and just all these bulletin points that I remembered and applied when I created my own stuff. And yeah, it was the genesis of me creating as a whole.
Rodney,
Just-
couldn't you say that the villain is in some cases more important than the hero?
Yeah, absolutely, because the villain gives the hero a purpose.
Yeah.
You know, so
You got a wimpy villain, man. One of us could beat him, if you get a wimpy villain.
exactly. Yeah, you have to make you have to have a badass villain, which was in our first comic book. That's what we did. We had a villain show up out of nowhere that just beat the hell out of the entire team, and people loved it because he spoke very little. You didn't know anything about him, and he just beat the hell out of everybody. And everybody was like, "Oh, this is so cool!" And I was dead set against doing an origin issue for an issue 1. I was not going to do that, and we didn't. We did that. And a lot of that was influenced by, the really awesome villains in the Disney movies. So it definitely had an effect on me.
Yeah, you don't remember the heroes. You remember the villains from Disney.
Yes.
You know?
Well, I
Who's your
think
favorite villain from Disney, Rodney?
Oh, man.
That's a good question.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a good
I'm
question.
here all week.
How much time you got? No, I'm kidding.
It's weird, but when I think about it, Cruella
Yeah,
stuck
there you
out
go.
in my mind because
She's got
of
a
my-
theme song.
yeah, I had a pretty hairy childhood, so her callousness, I could relate. I knew people like that, so she was relatable to me, and which made her even more scary and had a bigger lasting effect on me because people like that existed in my world.
Wow.
So,
When that movie came out, I had seen it, and shortly afterwards, I met a woman who had that stripe of hair.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
I was freaked out for weeks that somebody was going to come take my dog.
I think we should have that question go to everybody. What about you, Ryan?
What is it? Favorite villain?
Favorite
Disney villain.
Oh, favorite Disney villain. Well, there's some really good ones out there, but I probably have to go. I had this crazy uncle one time. His name was Uncle Scar. He tried to throw me off a rock or something and take over the throne. I wouldn't let him because I'm a very fast runner, so I got like quick reflexes on him. So I put on my Red Ranger outfit, took out my power sword, and showed him a thing or two because I know a thing or two. And then he eventually, and his hyena boys, they just backed off. I mean, of course, I had to give Whoopi some love because Whoopi Goldberg is she's Sister Act, she's Sister Mary Clarence. But other than that, yeah, I got to go with Scar because if you're gonna cast somebody to play an evil person, there's not too many actors who can pull it off, but there are some. And Jeremy freaking Irons not did it once but twice.
Yeah.
He did it in Lion King, and then 2 minutes later he's playing the brother of the first Die Hard in Die Hard 3, Die Hard with a Vengeance. Simon Says by giving McClane obstacles in the middle of New York City on a hot summer day, Brian. So no disrespect to other actors out there, but Jeremy Irons is he's kind of a big deal. So I probably give him the gold medal.
Wow, Willow. That's actually a good one, Ryan. Willow, what about you?
I have to say Yzma from Emperor's New Groove.
Oh my god.
I will always love Eartha Kitt.
Eartha Kitt, yes.
Yeah.
She's
Pull the lever, clunk.
She's my favorite Catwoman, and just of all the weird films that she popped into, playing the old woman in Ernest Scared Stupid.
He's my great
I love
choice.
her. I love her so much. But yeah, The Emperor's New Groove was just a fun movie, and I loved her as the villain.
What about you, Jerome?
Oh, I'm going with Cruella all the way.
Cruella, okay.
Yeah, I mean you say Disney villain, and it's either the the evil stepmother witch from like Cinderella or Snow White, or it's Cruella. Okay, all the others are great choices, but these are the classic ones people immediately think of.
Yes.
Because they are such iconic. And Cruella's got her own theme music. How many villains have their own theme song?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Cruella was really scary because she wasn't trying to take over the world. She was coming to take your puppy. And if you're anywhere between the ages of 4 to 12, that's scary.
Relatable.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that leaves a mark mentally.
Yeah.
What about you?
My favorite was Maleficent. It always was, but
Yeah.
I'm totally biased, 1000%. But I also know that Cruella didn't faze me much because there wasn't anybody that was going to take my dog. Like aside from the fact that he was a very large dog and slightly well, ranging from all of our dogs are very angry. The smallest ones were the angriest ones, but the bigger ones were like, you're not going to touch my humans. So
Yep.
I was like, she doesn't stand a chance.
So Brian's gone.
We're looking for the pizza delivery guy, but it's funny though because we think about the incarnation of the villains, and it's I was thinking about it. I'm like, what was the lamest villain? What was the worst one that Disney came up with? Because for me, I thought it was Jafar. I didn't like it. I thought he was kind of wimpy.
Yeah,
Well, that hurts my Aladdin-loving heart, but okay.
Sorry.
I mean, Aladdin's the goat to
I'll
me.
be right
It's
back.
the goat, but all right.
I mean, until he was the Sandman.
I have
think
to
the
say
Cave
the
of Wonders was more of a villain.
The weakest villain was Prince John and the sheriff. In the original
Fox.
Yeah.
Fox version. Yeah. That they don't do anything but whine and complain. That's all.
Exactly.
Jafar actually has a staff that can whip your tail, and especially he can transform into any kind of person.
Jafar can be pretty scary at the end there, but you go back to the Robin Hood, with Baloo as Little John. They those two were really wimpy villains.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm gonna have to agree with you on that. I can't think of.
That's how likely that one is in my head, though, because it was like not my favorite movie in the first place. Like,
go watch it.
And the Aristocats, maybe too.
Yeah, but go watch it again. That Robin Hood actually grows on you as an adult because there's a lot of adult jokes in that film.
Maybe that's why, because I was a very pure child and didn't get a.
Oh yeah.
I have two.
Which are
Ursula.
The Sea Witch.
Sea Witch, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good pick.
But my top is the hunter that killed Bambi's mom.
You never even see that person, but okay.
Yeah, exactly, man. That's an off-screen villain.
That's an off-screen.
Wow.
You never see or hear. You just hear the muzzle of the thing go off.
It's the quiet death.
But by the way, Brian, I recommend you go watch Bambi versus Godzilla and Bambi's Revenge.
Those are good. They're very good.
Okay, those are dynamite shorts.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's
all
funny.
the things to match up.
Have you seen it, Willow?
No.
Oh, it's hysterical.
Godzilla vs. Bambi was the short in front of Godzilla 1985.
Okay.
So when Godzilla 1985 came out in the theaters, it was the short that played before it.
I saw it in '87 at BosCon out of Boston when they were showing a whole mess of shorts. Then they showed immediately afterwards Bambi's Revenge.
Wow.
So there
Us
you
nerds
go.
have no life.
And what's even funnier is back in the '80s is HBO would do as filler sometimes would do some of these animated shorts also, and that's also I saw that there too also.
Oh my gosh.
The only Bambi sequel that I saw was the one on Saturday Night Live. Bambi as a live-action movie with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson as Bambi. I saw that live-action movie. That was good, but other than that, I haven't seen anything except the original Bambi movie.
Well, see, Bambi versus Godzilla is animated. It's all hand-drawn.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Okay. And
One of these days, I'm going to have to look that up too.
It's on YouTube. It's about what is it? About 5 minutes long at most.
Nice, short, sweet, and to the point. I like it.
Oh yeah.
Yes. So since we have a comic book creator here, let's talk about what most people in the comic book genre feel is probably the best animation is Batman the Animated Series.
Maybe used to be.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
I think Into the Multiverse kind of took over the crown. Spider-Man.
Well,
I think it depends on what kind of animation
You're talking traditional animation. Okay.
If you're talking traditional, I think.
Yeah, then I would have to agree. Yeah, the Batman, definitely.
I'd say they're kind of close 1-2. It's hard to
it's because he's Batman. That's why. It's because he's Batman. He can do whatever he wants.
I'd have to agree with Rodney, but I think they're like depending upon your point of view, it's 1-2, the two of those.
Yeah, if you're talking about like cartoons on TV, then in the comic book genre, Batman animated series is the king.
Yeah,
I enjoyed the animated series, but I enjoyed it because it was traditional animation.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's an animation that's starting to become harder and harder to find, and and it kind of makes me sad because that's my childhood, like, you know, traditional animation was. But I think that the first animated movie that I saw that I enjoyed the animation and that it worked for the movie was Into the Multiverse. So
I do have to hand it to Bruce Timm, though. Like his art is amazing.
Yeah.
Hey, Charlie.
Someone's got some Harley Quinn art,
There we go.
which is nice because Harley Con is going on this weekend right now, even as we speak.
That was a gift. That was a gift to my wife, who's a big Harley Quinn fan.
Very nice.
Now, segueing, who do you feel like did a better job as the voice of Harley Quinn? Arlene Sorkin being the original Harley Quinn. Tara Strong did an amazing job in the video games. I kind of like the girl who portrayed Bernadette, and like her Harley Quinn, she was good. I'm not a huge fan of the newer Harley Quinn now, though.
No, I gotta go with classic. Gotta go with classic.
Yeah.
You know.
I think, I don't know though, because her Harley Quinn kind of like, it just kind of like, she is a little out there, and her voice is a little bit more like, there's a like anxiety that comes out of it with it. Like, she's incredibly indecisive. Like, Harley Quinn has no clue what the hell she's doing. She is crazy. But you can tell, I feel like it comes through in Kaylee Cuoco's voice, kind of, that like that hurried kind of like anxious, that just like, I don't know, fucking clue what I'm doing kind of like thing comes through her voice. And I don't know, I wasn't a Harley Quinn fan before, you know, like, sorry.
Yeah.
So I guess it's like I said, it's what you love, and this is at least nice traditional-based animation that I can watch, even though my kids probably shouldn't watch it, but they love it.
My 7-year-old daughter watches the Batman animated series and loves it.
Oh no, the boys
My
should
goodness.
watch Harley Quinn. They love Harley Quinn. They think it's hilarious.
My daughter loves Justice League. You know.
That's the
a good
spirit.
show. Yeah.
Albert, but Brighton says it's like listening to my mom. So he stopped. No, this is real life. Like, he stopped somebody in the store, and he says, "Oh, I'm so sorry for swearing in front of your kids." And he looked up and he says, "You don't know my mom, do you?" Good. We're a nice, normal family.
With a little bit of a potty mouth.
Not a potty mouth.
Yes, but it's a sign of high intelligence, though. So I'm told.
I don't know. I wish I could use that vocabulary. Sometimes it just comes out and I don't realize it. I'm generally really good in my classroom, though. Not so good at home. I'm usually pretty good in my classroom.
Usually pretty good in the
Usually.
Usually.
In 15 years, I have said a general amount of shit, but usually that's in reference to something I've done or broken or hurt or spilled or, you know, something that I've done. So, you know.
So what about this other cartoon?
The Sword and Stone.
Oh, well, yeah, that's a good one.
I love that one, too.
That
Right.
Disney kind of, I don't know, considers something that they lock in the basement and everybody loves, gargoyles.
Oh my
I
god.
feel so
Yes.
bad. I'm like, I love gargoyles.
I mean, it's
The
like most
The,
of the
the
voice.
intro to the show alone is pretty darn good, and I watch it sometimes, and I'm like, as much as I think this is great if it stayed animation, I would love to see them try a live-action version of this, because there's so much mythology and stuff you can do with that. Like, that to me
Yeah,
is
but-
fascinating.
Part of the problem with gargoyles is you're going to get backlash from the evangelical right. And that's because of the nature of it and everything else, and that's part of why it's disappeared and you can hardly ever find it anywhere. Is they had a lot of protests against that show. Yeah, great show, had some dynamite voice acting. The animation was great.
Keith David.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Well, a lot of
they had
the voice
pushback.
actors were from Star Trek.
But they had some serious pushback.
That
That's
makes me want to go out and
unfortunate
see it.
because
I've never seen a single episode.
Hang on a second here. I'm gonna check something for us.
It's a good show based around really good mythology. Like even I may have grown up in a Christian home, but if I see a show about gargoyles and something that doesn't offend me.
Right.
It's animated.
Well,
it's animated. Who cares?
To be completely honest, the roots of censorship have always been into whether people were considered Christian or not. Because J.R.R. Tolkien told his whole story about the Lord of the Rings, and he was never condemned because he was an out Christian. However, J.K. Rowling has been condemned not about the things she said recently, because that's just bizarre, but previously for writing about wizards and witchcraft, and all of a sudden she's horrible because she won't go on the record saying that she's a Christian.
Yeah, but also Tolkien, though, you got to realize his best friend was C.S. Lewis.
A.K.A. Chronicles
And
of Narnia.
and C.S. Lewis loved Lord of the Rings. Okay, so that added. Just so you know, Gargoyles is available on Disney Plus. I just checked it just now.
Yeah, it is on Disney Plus.
Yep. And it's on DVD. So you can get it in multiple formats. People, if you're a fan, which I know that my best friend has it on his DVD shelf because I've seen his house. Gargoyles is out there. Watch it. Give it a shot.
But I mean, as for the Christian Catholic, push to have, things abolished. I grew up in the Bible Belt of Manitoba, and I can attest that there were pastors that had sermons dedicated to how evil Pokemon was, and this is such a waste of their time to do this. But for some reason, it was a huge thing because everybody collected the Pokemon cards. The cartoons were out, the movies were coming out left, right, and center, and it was anything that portrayed magic or powerful beings. The Christian.
Who cares?
It's
fiction. Get with it, people. People can have creative minds and create their own worlds if they want to.
Well, that's where the Comics Authority Code came from when they tried to ban comic books back in the 50s. Marvel and DC at the time got together and formed a Comics Authority Code just to get everybody off their asses.
One book caused that Comic Code's authority.
Which book was it, though?
Seduction of the Innocents. It was written by Frederick, was it Warfin? I can't pronounce his last name. He was a psychiatrist out of Bellevue. And he wrote that comic books was causing juvenile delinquency. Yep. I actually tried to read that book once. And what happened is it caused such a fervor because of people coming back from the war and everything else that they had a subcommittee. It was the Select Committee on Un-American Affairs Juvenile Delinquency. House Committee. And the guy who did, what was it? It was one of the horror comics back then. I'm trying to think what the one it was. But he basically got up and did the testimony in front of the House. And he was so nervous. And they say he was drunk, but he wasn't. He was on some medication. It looked like he was drunk. He was slurring. And they basically said, nope, you're done. And that was the end of it. There's a whole ugly history about that time with the Comics Code Authority.
Yeah.
And it's fascinating to read, 50 odd years later now that it's gone. But you look at it and you're just horrified at some of the BS that they did on that. Yeah.
I mean, they did the same thing with music as well. So.
Well, that's why Mad Magazine looks the way it looked for the longest time. Yeah. Mad Magazine with comic
had
book
that
size.
parental advisory label on them.
Well, you can thank Tipper Gore for that one.
Gore, yeah.
Yeah. But Mad Magazine used to be comic book size. The first 12 issues are comic book size. And when the Comics Codes Authority came along, they said F it and went to magazine size so that they didn't have to follow the code.
Jeez.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, there's a whole history of how this got crazy. And it all started pretty much the moment the war ended.
Trying
They
to
didn't have anything
keep
to
their
occupy
thumb
their
on you.
time anymore. They had to sensationalize something.
Yeah, what were you saying, Rodney?
So it's the establishment's way of trying to keep a thumb on the creative mind.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you can think for
Silly. Just
yourself,
like creators, be creative.
Yeah.
yeah, if you can think for yourself, that's a threat to them. So they didn't want any of that.
Well, it also killed a lot of independents for a while too.
Yeah.
Mm.
The
Yeah.
independents really didn't get started until basically the 80s came along, and publishing got cheap. And the biggest, most successful of them was the guys who did the Turtles.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, Peter and Kevin?
Yeah, they're from up
No
here.
kid.
Now, I had a chance to talk with them, and one of them kind of implied that alcohol was involved in the creation of the two of them. They don't say that
Aw.
officially now, but at certain cons they've implied that. But yeah, I mean, the comics code did so much damage, and that's why you saw the big controversy when both DC and Marvel did books that did not have the code on it back in the 70s.
Hmm.
You know, that was a big deal. You know, don't get Neil Adams started on it, by the way.
Neil Adams. Man, he was at so many conventions that I attended before COVID shut the world down. Thanks, COVID. Yeah, man,
I
that's
had
crazy.
a chance to shake his hand, and like nobody was around his table, and I'm just like, I walked by and I just kind of glanced down and saw his name. I'm just like, really? I didn't know he was on the guest list.
I had a copy of that book where Speedy is taking the drugs and the needles on the cover, and we had a conversation about that, and boy, he went off on Stan like you wouldn't believe.
And a lot of the kids today don't realize how big of an advocate Neil Adams was for creator rights.
Oh yeah, huge.
Even
Oh yeah.
getting the comic companies, the big two, to return their original art to the artists.
Well, I don't know if you're old enough to remember this, Rodney. Do you remember back in the 80s the what about Jack advertisements?
Yeah.
You know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was Mark. You're supposed to be on vacation, Mark.
Nice comeback, Mark. I like it. Man, Mark's all over this. He's all over
Poor
that.
Mark. Mark's supposed to be on vacation right now. I think he needs to stop watching us and go back to the pool and the beers. You know.
Sit at your private cabana, Mark.
Well, he was excited this morning. He was like pretty much on National Geographic, according to his Facebook post.
Was he?
Yeah, like he was praying that he would see animals or something, and like manatees and dolphins showed up out of nowhere. And
I remember seeing that. But yeah, Neil was a dynamite guy, but I think he's a little pricey on some of his art. But that's another subject of itself.
Yeah, but it's Neil Adams. He's.
I can't argue that point.
Yeah, I mean, for the younger kids, they don't know. I mean, he was the Tom Cruise or the Brad Pitt of the day. And then he passed the torch to John Byrne, and then John Byrne passed the torch to Jim Lee, and but he was the guy in the 70s.
Yeah.
And again, he fought for creator rights where nobody else would.
Him and Denny O'Neil.
Yeah.
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 And if they ever get conventions back on the ground, I can have him sign my Green Lantern, Green Arrow, Hard Traveling Heroes hardcover that I have.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Deluxe edition, ladies and gentlemen. I spare no expense.
what do you guys think of the X-Men cartoon from the 90s?
Well, gee, Brian, I don't know. I grew up in this decade called the 90s, and it's the best thing since sliced bread, at least in my humble and professional opinion. So with that being said, if the X-Men animated series didn't happen, I wouldn't know who the heck those characters are, and I wouldn't be as big of a fan as I am now. I love the animated series, and a little thing called X-Men in 2000 happened, and I love it to pieces. And we just celebrated its 20th anniversary, so happy anniversary, X-Men. We love you to pieces. So with that being said, yeah, I think that animated series is #like boss. It took chances. It got dark. It got gritty. It has a great theme song. Don't anyone let you tell you otherwise, because they're fooling themselves. Who doesn't hum that every other day of the week and twice on Sunday when they're getting ready to beat the crap out of something or someone? Just saying. If you want to get motivated, listen to some X-Men.
So Ryan, what's your mutant power?
Adamantium claws.
Okay.
Yeah, I can heal real fast, and I got adamantium claws. I just don't have that snickering low tone of voice that the voice actor has on the show. I'm a little bit more kinder that way. So if you want to do an amalgam, I'm probably a mixture between quick reflexes like Wolverine and really cool hip humor like Gambit.
Okay. Smite, you know.
Jerome, what about you then? What's your mutant power?
Oh, I'm a legion of superheroes, so I have to have a special power to join. And we used to have this at conventions, panels like this. You had to come up. I'm Kiss Ass Boy. Okay.
Oh my god.
You're killing me, Jerome.
What about you, Willow?
I mess with electronics. I literally can just touch a keyboard and my computer will just kind of shut itself off.
Oh, you belong to a legion of substitute heroes now.
So you're like Dark Forge.
So you're gonna get like touch ATMs and like the money just pops out?
I wish.
Is it like Jubilee?
I'm more of the, electronics do not work around me. When I first got my phone, it just like including my computer. When I first got my stuff, it's like things would freeze, things would just shut itself off. When I worked for EB Games, I went to go log in and I just touched a key on the keyboard and the computer just restarted itself, and my boss is like, the computer was working fine all day until you came in.
Sounds like my wife. She has the same problem.
So
you have a bit of Jubilee's powers. Okay, I can see that.
What about you, Rodney?
Because in the pilot, she's like, hey, what she did to the VCR just by touching it.
What's my mutant power? Was that the question?
yeah.
Yeah, we're kicking it X-Men style, so what do you got?
I'm going to say Creator Lad. So Forge. I don't know. I'm always creating, so I don't have any superhuman strength or healing ability. If I did, I could stand without being in intense pain. But so yeah, I think it's just Creator Lad.
Okay, what about you?
Captain Overshare.
No.
I don't talk much until I get to know you, and then I tell you all kinds of stuff you probably never wanted to know.
And then if he's drinking a little bit, he'll probably tell you more.
Yeah, then the
So alcohol is your kryptonite.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll make sure to bring it when we come down there and visit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess my superpower is networking. I get people to join.
Bring people together.
Yeah.
And make them do things they don't necessarily want to do.
So he's Mojo.
I mean, if we want to go original, I'd say my superpower is just remembering random stuff for no other reason other than to just quote it to people back. I can remember quotes from movies and TV series like the drop of a hat. Like that's my superpower. Is advanced memory.
Captain Recall.
Replay.
Yeah. Total Recall. Yeah, my name is not Quaid.
Your replay.
Yeah, I guess I'm replay man. I don't know. You want to put that on a shirt? Who knows?
What's interesting from the 90s is that so you had a lot of anime coming in, but you also had the Superman. The Warner Brothers did Superman, Batman, Justice League Unlimited. They did Batman Beyond, which I loved. What was the sequel to Batman Beyond? I can't remember the name of it.
I don't think they had one.
There was a spin-off. There was a spin-off about a robot that was trying to find its creator with some chasing around with a kid. I'll find it in a second. And then you had the Justice League. I mean, not Justice League. You also had the Legion of Superheroes.
Yeah.
You know, which sadly only went. They kind of lost their way after the first episode. You know. Hang on a second here. Let me find out what that's.
Google, bring up memory banks now.
The Zeta Project. Do you remember the Zeta Project?
No, I don't.
Okay. It was 2001 to 2002. Aired on Kids WB. It's a spin-off of Batman Beyond.
Oh, what about Static Shock? That's a
Static
popular-
Shock. There's another one. I like
Which-
Static
That
Shock.
was good. I love.
People are like clamoring for that to be rebooted in some way, shape, or form.
Forget rebooted. How about
It
just
doesn't-
release it?
It doesn't need to be rebooted. They need to make a movie out of it.
How about
Yeah.
releasing it on DVD? It's like between Zeta and Static, those two have never been released on DVD or on the
No
streaming.
kidding.
Yeah.
Jeez. Because I was looking up stuff on Amazon to put in my my want list after I get my little thing called birthday money comes in, and I was putting in like Justice League Unlimited, Superman the animated series, because that stuff I missed out on a couple of things when I was. I mean, I saw like bits and pieces of episodes, but never like actually sat down and saw all of them. So I'm gonna add those to my DC collection because I don't know if you can tell, but DC fan over here. So just saying. I mean, Superman's my go-to, so it's kind of the reason why I'm a DC fan. Hello.
What about some of the Disney animated series that they did, like DuckTales? I mean, you guys hit on Darkwing Duck
Yeah.
earlier.
Yeah,
DuckTales
I watched
was
the animated
cute.
movie The Treasure of the Lost Lamp with, what was his name? Rip Taylor. Rip Taylor is going to be there. Yeah. Remember
I was
that
a
movie
big,
like it was yesterday.
Tailspin, yeah.
Tailspin was another big one.
Yeah.
That was a
Okay.
that was a big series.
I'm going to confess here. I was a fan of Recess.
That
Recess.
was
Really?
Yeah.
cute. That was really cute.
Recess,
I
and
loved
what
it.
was the other one?
Doug.
Magic School Bus?
No, there was there was one where it was basically the safety patrol, and it was like a cop buddy show. Fillmore.
Oh.
I don't think I watched that one.
No, I didn't watch that
Jeez.
one.
Yeah, I
I
watch
don't
the
think I've heard
obscure
of it.
stuff, man. I watch the obscure stuff. You can find it. Basically, it's the safety patrol in this school, and they're like sort of like the cop buddy shows and movies.
No
Did you
kidding.
guys like Rescue Rangers?
Oh,
Yeah.
dude. Chip
Oh,
and
yeah.
Dale. Who can hum that theme song perfectly? Willow can. Sometimes, Come on, Brian.
No,
Dude,
it's your show, Ryan. Go ahead, sing it.
I'm sorry.
Jeez. Let me see. These two gum shoes are gonna get to. But I can't remember all of it. It's killing me. But it's a taste to be no mystery too strong. When need help, just call Chip and Dale Rescue Ranger. Come on, kids, sing it at home. You know.
Well, they made a cute reference of it in the most recent in the DuckTales latest one when they were doing a takeoff on Bond with
Oh.
oh yeah you got to watch that one with they're in the arcade and they basically go into a virtual reality Bond and the Rescue Rangers make a cameo appearance and save them.
Well, that's cool. Some people
Yeah.
conspired to think that Chip and Dale were based off of Magnum P.I. and Indiana Jones because of their jackets and their Hawaiian shirts that they were wearing.
Well, they were a little bit.
A little
Were,
bit.
were they Magnum P.I. and Indiana Jones? Because if so, that's a pretty cool combo of having Tom Selleck and Harrison Ford, who, by the way, Tom Selleck was potentially up for the role of Indiana Jones before
I
Magnum
would
P.I.
have
took
been
him
okay
away
with
from it.
that.
Oh no.
I
No,
would've
Harrison
been okay with
Ford is like.
He was
Ford's
also
like
up for the role of Han
quintessential
Solo.
Jones. I don't think Tom Selleck could do it.
He was also
Yeah.
up for the role of Han Solo, Tom Selleck,
Yeah, again,
and
no.
John Travolta.
Travolta as Solo. Think about that
No.
one for a moment.
No.
That would not have worked. That would not have worked. Harrison Ford is perfect the way you are, buddy. You were fine as Solo and really good as Indiana Jones. We'll give credit where credit's due.
But who is it? Terry mentioned here Jackie Chan Adventures. How many of you remember Jackie Chan Adventures?
Oh yeah,
It was
I
all
never
right.
watched it, but I saw a poster of it on Facebook the other day. I'm like, jeez, how many
Oh, it was
animated shows?
great. It was hysterical.
They
The
did.
never
best,
watched
the
it.
best whole thing was is when they got who was it? When they got Macho Man Randy Savage to voice
You
over
mean
one of the
Bonesaw
villains.
McGraw was on that show?
Yeah.
But he was one of the
Bonesaw
villains,
McGraw?
and it was hysterical listening to him do the.
Jeez,
Ah.
I didn't know Bonesaw was on that show.
But yeah,
Interesting.
what was the other Disney one that I watched? Did you? I mean, so they did the Aladdin, and then they did Hercules, and Hercules has a unique record for the most celebrity guest stars.
Oh.
No
Yeah.
kidding.
Oh yeah, they had huge celebrity guest stars on that. My favorite was having William Shatner as Jason, from Jason and the Argonauts.
Oh my
Oh.
gosh.
Huh.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, they
Old Man
went
Captain
all over the
Kirk.
place. They went all over the place with the celebrities on that show.
I
That's
don't think I
Yeah.
watched
funny.
Hercules animated series. I remember Aladdin because Aladdin is the goat.
Right.
But
They had the Little Mermaid.
Uh-huh.
yeah, I remember that. Didn't watch it because The Little
they-
Mermaid's a one-film deal. But yeah.
They oversaturated the market around.
Oh,
Oh,
they
they
did,
saturated
dude.
it like nobody's business, and they made animated series out of R-rated movies. So, I mean, we all remember that, right? I watched an episode of Mortal Kombat, the animated series, right after the '95 film came out, and I'm like, "There's no way you can do a family-friendly show about Mortal Kombat." I'm sorry. There's no way.
There was a
Despite the animation
RoboCop
and how cool
cartoon.
some of those suits were, I'm like, no.
There was a RoboCop cartoon as well.
Yeah,
Yes,
so
there
was
was.
a Rambo.
What?
There was
And
Rambo.
Rambo.
I don't remember this.
There was
Willow,
also
Rambo was a cartoon for kids.
yeah. There was also they made a cartoon with Chuck Norris, and then they had a cartoon of the Karate Kid.
Yes, they did. I don't remember the Karate
Okay,
Kid, but
but
I do remember the Chuck Norris one.
Was Karate Kid any good though?
don't
The
mind the
animated
Chuck Norris
series?
one, and the Karate Kid one wasn't bad because
All right.
the Karate Kid one was more about like understanding why you're using this as opposed to just using it for
Yeah, he would go on like adventures and stuff. So,
Okay. I have
Around
to look
this
this up.
time, Canada, like the broadcasting, Canada put like stipulations on the broadcasting networks to have more Canadian content. So I missed a lot of crap. So yeah, I apologize if I don't know much about this.
No, it's
stuff.
alright. It's what we're here for. I mean, Jerome's already educated me on like what 50 different things I got to do after this show. So it's
Well,
like,
It's so stupid. Like the Canadian Broadcast Council wanted to have a lot more Canadian content, and it killed radio stations. It killed television stations, and essentially it's like the comic code for Canadian broadcasting, and people
come on.
were
Go on.
were were struggling to find like ways of getting around the Canadian content thing by trying to find what is if actors had ties to Canada in some way through family members.
Yep. No, come on. All right. So for Mark, so Brian and then Nicole, since you also do wrestling, do you not remember Hulk Hogan's Rock and Wrestling show?
oh yeah,
Yeah.
Rock and Wrestling, yeah.
God!
Hulk Hogan. There's a name
Yeah.
I have not heard in a long time. A long time.
It went
No,
2
I'm kidding.
seasons.
That's the
Dude,
last
I
time
grew up on
I
Hulk
watched
Hogan,
the show.
so jeez.
I
Ewoks.
re-
Ewoks and droids.
Yeah.
Oh,
I remember the
I remember
Ewoks.
Star Wars droids.
I remember
getting
the droids.
VHS tape at my local library back in the heyday.
if you
I'm
want
dating
real
myself.
if you want real Star Wars pain, you need to watch the 2 Ewok
Yeah, the
movies
Christmas
made.
special. Yeah.
No, Christmas special is a whole level of pain that we won't get into. But the Ewok films that were designed for kids for straight to video, they hurt so much. But the
Yeah.
Christmas special, that's a whole nother. That's pinhead pain. Okay,
That's Clockwork Orange pain.
That's a lot of
Exactly.
drugs that I ain't willing to consume.
Yeah,
I watched it when it first aired because we didn't know how bad it was in the 70s.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, so we were the
Yeah, we watched it
only
because it was Star Wars, and then we were terrified after it was done.
The only good
Yep.
thing about that whole thing was the Boba Fett cartoon. In it.
Yeah.
Hey, Joe, I was going to
Yeah.
ask, are you familiar with the production company DIC, which
Yes.
did a lot of cartoons?
Yes,
Like,
my favorite that they did was Starship Troopers.
Oh yeah.
What
Because
about
they were actually fairly faithful to the book in there.
what about Shirt Tails?
I remember Shirt Tails, never watched it. My wife apparently is chuckling because I think she watched it. Did you watch it, dear? Yes, she did.
Yeah, it was about these animals that lived in the park in the tree, and there was it a raccoon, tiger,
Sounds like
a
Madagascar.
monkey,
frog.
and they would say Shirt Tails, and like
They had powers like
they have
Care
powers.
Bears.
Yeah,
Really?
there
That's
you go. You need to look that one up, Ryan. It's actually a pretty fun cartoon.
think
I'm really sad that I don't have a clipboard and a sheet of paper in front of me to write all this down because I'm not going to remember this in 5 minutes. So
Well, that's why this show is on. You go back and rewatch the show.
yeah, either that or you can private message me that long laundry list of stuff I need to do before I go back to school next week. So Jerome, it's 1 p.m. Send me a PM. Rodney, that goes for you too. Send me a PM to all your sites and whatnot. I'll be like, okay, this is what I got to do before I go back to school. If I don't do this, my life is over.
It was a raccoon, a panda, a mole, a tiger, a chimpanzee. Yeah.
I'm horrified.
This sounds very scary. They make scary movies that start out like this, Willow.
I'm glad that I wasn't able to watch any of that.
I mean, I think if I'm not mistaken, they're rebooting the, aren't they rebooting Magic School Bus for the second time as a live-action movie? And
I don't know about live action, but they rebooted it on Netflix with Kay McKinnon. Right,
yeah.
And it's her niece is how they're doing this. I think is what it is.
And I've seen a couple episodes. It's pretty good.
Okay. I liked the Magic School Bus, but I liked it because there actually was educational content. Like that didn't jam it down your throat. They made it fun.
Okay, so
they made it incredibly.
DIC's most popular show though was Inspector Gadget.
Oh.
Which I do remember watching quite a bit when I was a kid, and everyone remembers that quirky little theme song. Come on, Willow.
Okay, wait a minute. Here's another one for you guys. Rainbow Bright.
Was okay.
Care Bears. Oh, here we go. The real Ghostbusters.
So good.
I watched that one too.
Such a good show.
I couldn't get into that.
Every episode twice.
By the way, the toy line is a really big deal right now for the real Ghostbusters. That toy line
I did not
is
know
huge.
this. DIC also produced G.I. Joe.
Oh.
Mm.
And Captain Planet.
That was a little before my time. Sorry, folks.
Well, it's on YouTube right now. You can watch it.
That's true. My brothers were into G.I. Joe, and they were into He-Man and Motu, Masters of the Universe.
They did Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh,
I remember that show.
Oh, wait a minute. Here we go. They did Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
How do you do that, though? That doesn't make sense.
They did Carmen Sandiego.
Okay.
Yes. Carmen Sandiego's like top 5.
Yeah, they did the English dub of Sailor Moon.
Okay.
Sailor Moon.
Let's see here. Oh, I actually enjoyed this one. Sherlock Holmes in the 22nd century.
That was actually a good show.
It was. I enjoyed that one a lot. Yeah.
I'm going to have to look that one up, Willow.
Sabrina.
Okay.
Which was hysterical because the voiceover was the actress's sister, younger sister.
Ah.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. Let's see. Stargate Infinity. Dino Squad.
Oh, my God.
And then they did a whole mess of live action also. Yeah, there's quite a list of DICs. I may have to do that as part of my show for Saturday morning cartoons.
There you go. It's what we call a laundry list or a to-do list for you, Jerome. There you go.
Yeah.
Well, there was another cartoon in the 80s, a popular band by the name of New Kids on the Block.
Oh, God, that's better. You don't understand. They're from Boston. Okay, and I'm here in Boston, and you couldn't swing a dead cat without hitting stuff about New Kids up here.
I don't know why it took me so freaking long to recall that Donnie Wahlberg was a New Kids on the Block.
Wait a minute, was Donnie? I thought he was like the brother, and he spun off.
No, he was a producer. He was producing as brother Marky Mark.
Oh, that's right. Mark. That's right.
Jeez. Yep.
They both became actors, which I honestly think Donnie Wahlberg is a better actor than he is a singer, but
they both are better actors than they are.
Okay. Jonathan Knight, Jordan Knight, Donnie Wahlberg, Danny Wood, and Joey McIntyre. And Mark Wahlberg was a member. Mark was a member at one point.
Yeah, but
back in the early 80s.
Too young. I think the record company had a problem with that.
Oh my God. I remember no matter where you went in this country, you could not escape the New Kids.
Like they were just as big as Ninja Turtles. Ninja Turtles were huge. Like their things were everywhere.
Ninja Turtles were humongous for good reason, though. So
Oh,
I'll give
my
credit
God.
where credit's due. But man, what was it? Marky Mark went on to do a Hollywood career, and now Donnie's got great checks coming in because he's on every episode of Blue Bloods for the last 10 or 12 years.
Such
so.
a good show.
He was
Well,
also
my,
in.
my parents love the show, Willow. I only watched it for the first 2 or 3 seasons. I'm like, okay, I'm getting bored. I need something new to do.
Were you
Before
saying?
that,
And
he
then,
was the guy.
Band of Brothers too on HBO, and he was
Yeah.
really
Yes.
He was good on that, yeah.
He was also the guy in The Sixth Sense that killed himself
Yeah.
in the
oh, that's
hotel
right.
room.
That's right.
He was,
Lost like 50 pounds and looks really.
and he was also
crazy.
in that Stephen King movie, Dreamcatcher.
Oh yeah, because that's worth remembering.
So,
Gee whiz.
since we're talking animation,
Are we
what are
talking
your guys'
animation, though?
what are your guys' opinion on Japanese anime?
Depends upon which one.
Well,
There's good, and then there's bad, just like anybody else.
well,
Oh,
let's go back to the '80s where there was some popular stuff like Voltron and Robotech.
no. You have to go back a little bit further with Astro Boy.
Astro
Well,
Boy was the start. Okay, Astro Boy, because we covered this on my show. Astro Boy was actually very regional, Willow. I don't know if you knew that.
Oh, no. I
Yeah,
did
it was
not.
a very regional show. Astro Boy happened. There was also Simba the White Lion.
Okay.
Okay. And then they also did Gigantor, was also before even Astro Boy.
Oh, okay. I kind of remember that vaguely, but
Gigantor's got a really hip theme song, so when you find it, just go listen to it.
Mhm.
And
And
of course,
then
you're a Speed Racer, right?
Speed Racer came in the late 70s to the States. But before that was a really cool Gaiju type show called Johnny Sacco and His Giant Robot. Go find it. It's fun to watch. The kids smoke and shoot real guns. But that was live action. So Speed Racer showed up. And then regionally up here, I don't know about the rest of the world, but I know regionally up here in New England, we had a show called Star Blazers show up.
Yes.
Okay.
I was
Yeah.
waiting for that. I love Star
Yeah.
Blazers.
Star Blazers, man, that theme song was great. Then they also had something called Force 5. And then before the really big breakthrough, you also had Battle of the Planets, which was an import also, and that everybody loves. But the one that really started it all was Robotech.
Okay.
Robotech was that breakthrough. That appealed to a lot of people. And when Robotech hit, and it hit big, okay, that is by most scholarly studies as the big breakthrough for anime here in the States. We all remember Speed Racer, but people don't think of it as anime. They see Robotech and they say that's anime.
Yeah. And
Okay.
I loved Robotech. I was more of a Matt Cross, which spun off of Robotech. That was my thing.
What's interesting is if you go online, there's a couple of documentaries, multi-part documentaries on YouTube about the history of Robotech. And forget the show itself. Behind the scenes, the soap opera itself is hysterical. The lawsuits, the egos, who was doing what with what, and who was cheating who. There's a lot of soap opera stuff behind Robotech. You might want to check out.
What about one of my personal favorite anime films, which I know is on a lot of people's favorite film list? It's Akira from 1988.
Oh.
Yep. That
Yep,
rock
Akira.
and roll.
Yeah.
Remember rock and roll?
Yes, I got a copy of it floating around here somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's another one that I loved called Ninja Scrolls. It's a very mature anime, but it's a fun film.
I remember hearing about it. I don't recall watching it so much.
Yeah. I've heard of it. I've never watched it though.
Yeah, there was a lot of attempts at anime for a while on TV. I mean, they tried doing a number of things. They did. The Cartoon Network used to do a lot of stuff at midnight with anime,
Yeah.
and it just didn't take for whatever reason. And then that damn little yellow critter showed up.
Ugh.
Exactly.
Yeah. Pokemon just, I don't know. For me, like I loved several anime shows, but for some reason, Pokemon was like the hit of everything.
Right, but when he showed up, the floodgates opened up to mainstream people watching anime.
Yeah, because then Digimon came and a whole bunch of
Sailor
other.
Moon, all that stuff. Yes, Rodney.
I love. Oh,
my-
sorry.
My friend, actually the artist on the Superior 7, he started working for Hasbro.
Uh-huh.
And this was probably 93 or 4. And I remember him calling me and saying, "Hey man, we just had a whole bunch of Japanese people come in today and give this huge presentation." He said, "There's this new thing coming out from Japan called Pokemon. And I just want to let you know that this is going to be colossal."
Uh-huh.
I'm like, "Really? What is it?" And he explained it to me. And he's like, "It's all these characters and we're doing all this stuff for it." And it's just, "I'm just letting you know right now, when you see it, you need to pick it up because it's going to be huge." It's apparently, it's like the Beatles over in Japan right now, and it's getting ready to hit the American market. So, and he wasn't lying, because when it hit, everybody went bananas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody did the Pikachu voice, and like I mean, okay, granted, I had my favorite Pokemon characters, Jigglypuff. You know, she was adorable, but I just couldn't get past the whole, Pikachu voice. That annoyed me.
Can we barbecue Pikachu? Is that okay?
No.
Just like we can barbecue the porgs from Last Jedi.
Oh,
Works for me.
Quentin would be very upset about that.
Takes my
But
chicken.
one of my
Tastes
favorite
like
animes
chicken.
though.
Nice
That's
pull,
good, Rodney. That's good, Rodney. Pikachu tastes like chicken. That's good.
That's right.
My favorite anime though was Card Captors.
card captors. So.
No,
I've never heard of that.
I heard about it. I've heard of it. That's interesting.
It was before Yu-Gi-Oh hit, and kind of had like went to the spiritual realm of things, and I think that I'm surprised that that didn't take off as much as Yu-Gi-Oh did.
Or what's the other one? Naruto?
Naruto?
Yep. That's another big one.
See, I go back to one that's even obscure. I was at a party in '83, a house party, and this guy brought a VHS tape of this thing called Bubblegum Crisis.
That's
And-
awesome.
And basically he was reading the translations at the party and actually listening to that and telling us where the translations got wrong. So that was a memorable party on that from a geek point of view. But I'm also a Bebop fan. Cowboy Bebop. The whole bounty hunter and the music is just dynamite to listen to as you're watching it. I mean, the opening music alone by Tank is worth your effort.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, my choices of anime. I mean, I also like Full Metal Alchemist.
That's good. Yeah.
Some really good
There's a whole lot of
steampunk there.
Funko Pops based on that line.
Yeah, I don't have Funko Pops. I collect comic books. That's where I put my space of things. I get more comic
That's all right.
books
That's
that
what
way.
matters most anyway.
Yeah. But yeah, so my choice of anime is all over the place. Like with Rodney, I'm still trying to find Star Blazers on DVD.
Yeah.
Rodney, did you ever see Force 5?
Yeah, but it was so long ago, I barely remember it.
Guy King, the Space Cateers.
Yeah,
that's about all I can remember. Those two.
It's fuzzy. I remember the name, but my mind's not conjuring up images. It's some of the stuff sticks, and some of it's just I got nothing.
Flush it
No.
away. Yep.
Well, unfortunately, this is where Ryan gets off the train because I don't really speak anime. I haven't really seen much of it, so I can't really comment or speculate or one way or the other. But I actually have to get going, kids. So I'm going to go to a panel for HarleyCon. If anyone's going to watch that, stay tuned. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then Nerd Culture is going to go live tonight at 7 o'clock for our DC debate, Justice League versus Legion of Doom. That's going to be fun to see. So if anyone's interested in that, check out our Facebook page at It's Nerd Culture on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. There's your plugs.
Hey,
And,
Ryan, give me a
thanks
call.
For what's that?
Let me know if you need me to show up on anything for you.
No, I appreciate that. But anyway, this was fun while I was here and while I was still here to make it last. But Brian, thanks for having me. I know you're going to go 3 hours because you like to just have fun and jibber jabber. So
No,
you
we
kids
got
have fun in the
15 minutes.
playroom. I'm going to head out of here. So when the guys are away, the kids will play. So have fun, Rodney. Great to meet you. Wish you the best of luck with your future projects. Feel free to
Thank you. Good
friend
to
me on
meet you too.
Facebook. Superior 7, and we'll talk more about that later. Brian, thanks for having me, and try not to stay up too late on this show. Okay, you need your rest.
No, I know, man. And it's a pleasure to have you all the time here. Thanks.
Yeah, no problem, guys. Have fun.
I'll see you later.
See you, Ryan. Nice to meet you.
That guy's great.
Wow.
Where's he from?
He's in Maryland.
Yeah,
Maryland? Okay.
Yeah, Baltimore area, I believe.
What about you guys?
Is there anything?
We're in
else?
Florida.
Florida. And Willow, you're in Canada?
I'm in Canada, yeah.
Okay. I'm in Cincinnati, Ohio. And
Okay.
Jerome, I gathered that you're in the Boston area.
Yeah, I'm up by Lowell.
Okay. Okay. I am a Patriots fan, by the way, living in Cincinnati.
Excellent. That code though can get you killed on certain Facebook pages. So
Yeah, well, I just tell them to look at the rings.
that's what I tell them.
Patriots fan living in a Bengals country. You can imagine how painful that is.
Yeah, that can be rough. You know?
Well, I'm originally from California. I'm just living here in Florida. So.
I grew up in Michigan, so
Big Blue.
But I suffered through a lot of pain from what was growing up because I was a Red Sox fan.
Yeah.
It's like being a Cubs fan. Until
I'm
2000.
So should I apologize now for the 75 World Series?
Yeah. The funny thing is Game 6, the most exciting game of that series. My folks sent me to bed early.
Oh, no.
Oh,
Yes.
no.
Oh,
What's it like? It went 20 innings or something.
oh man.
Yeah, it
The
was
whole-
You
dynamite.
didn't try to sneak down the stairs
game,
and watch.
No.
The fist home run?
Yeah, exactly. Willow, I grew up in the U.S. military, so when Dad said go to bed,
Oh.
yeah. But yeah, you're right, Rodney.
It wasn't a debate. It was a
Yeah.
demand.
But you're right, man. That was a dynamite World Series.
Yeah. And I've got to watch it about 6 times since when all of the all the sports were shut down, and they kept replaying the 90 World Series, the 75 and 76 World Series. Yeah.
I'll be right back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Rodney, do you have any artwork near you that you can show us?
Yeah, if I dig a little bit, let me see. She just took I did a Zartan last night on our Friday night draw from G.I. Joe. Let me go over to her desk real quick and see if it's over here.
Uh-oh. He's going to go steal from the wife. Wait a minute. Michigan and California, and you're in Florida?
yeah.
Well, we met in
we
Las
met in
Vegas.
Las Vegas.
I'm sure there's a story in here somewhere that's really interesting.
Maybe.
It's a story
Yeah.
for another time.
Yeah, so where in Canada are you, Willow?
I'm in Winnipeg, Manitoba.
Okay.
Home of the Winnipeg Jets.
I spent 3.5 years in Goose Bay, Labrador.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, really far north, really frickin' cold.
Yeah, don't come here in winter. You will freeze to death in the winter, boil to death in the summer. We have been getting weather that can,
Rival Florida.
super humid weather. We've had rain for the last 2 days.
I went in for a while. I lived in Charleston, South Carolina. I was trailer park trash, and then we moved to Canada. So I went from one extreme to the other. So it snowed once on Father's Day up there.
Yep.
So we're gonna do something a little fun here. We have Trolls World Tour 4K digital movie that we want to give away.
Oh Lord.
Ooh.
How are we doing this? Because you did not tell me that we were doing.
Well, we're gonna do it live here with people in the chat. So I think we should think of a fun way to do it. Maybe we should come up with a question.
Maybe
I don't
we
know.
should
These
have come up
guys
with
in the
this
chat are
before.
really good.
Maybe we can come up with a good question. Jerome, you're good at stumping people.
Come up with something obscure, because then.
Well, with the internet, that presents a problem. Okay, because obscure is no longer obscure.
Right.
You know?
Right.
But all right. Let me check. Hang on a second here. I just want to check before I say what this is.
All right, and then we'll go down there to Rodney. I think he's got his artwork.
Okay. These are just some samples of some stuff that I've done. These are just my illustrations. Beetlejuice.
Oh,
Wow.
that's cool.
That's
I
awesome.
really
Wow.
like
Thanos.
that. Nice.
Nice.
Man, I love the coloring.
Man, I am impressed. I'm gonna have to. I got to talk to you about a commission work.
Beetlejuice,
This
man.
is a book that I did for a client called the Bad Boy Alphabet Book. It's like a bathroom book. I did 2 of them. I did the other one's called The Pit of Pink Eye. But I can't find that book, so let's see what else I've got. I've got a little,
You know, that holds pretty near and dear to my heart because I'm a teacher. So there's 2 things in teacher life that you're petrified of.
yeah.
And that's pink eye and head lice.
Oh my god.
Now COVID, I guess, but
Boba Fett.
Boba Fett.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Sorry, just a sec.
Indiana Jones.
Oh, nice.
Ooh.
Now these are my fan art illustration stuff that I sell at shows. That I was selling at shows for a long time to make money. Aquaman.
Ooh. Aquaman.
Yep, Jason. Yep.
And Thanos.
Man, we gotta get you to come up.
Crazy.
So just stuff like that. Here's
Drax.
David Bautista. Yeah, Drax. And then I have. I mean, that's what I've got around me that I can grab, and I've got my some of my comics here. Hang on a second. I always keep these at the arm's length. This is the trade of the first 4 issues of Peanut Pudding and Jelly.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have issues 5 and 6. We have floppies of that. And then our first issue of Pitter Patter, which is our cat book. And I'm currently rewriting issue 2. I'm going to start doing the artwork on that here soon. And then we have Roadkill Rampage, which is the Kickstarter right now. So that's some of what I do.
And when does that Kickstarter end?
Say again?
When does the Kickstarter end?
It ends on Thursday night at 7 p.m. Eastern.
Okay.
So it's live. We actually we met our goal in 44 hours, which
Wow.
was
Wow.
amazing for us. We were shocked. So now we're just trying to reach the stretch goal of $3,000. There's a really cool enamel pin that our artist did artwork for, and if we get to $3,000, it unlocks that reward. So it's a really cool pin. You can go to the Kickstarter and check it out. Roadkill Rampage Kickstarter. There's a little video on there that we put together, so you get a preview of the art and all that fun stuff. And it's our first attempt at a horror comic, so it's gotten pretty good reviews from people that have read it. So go check it out.
Stupid
Brian, I
dog.
just sent you the question. I think would be a good one.
Okay. Did
Check your
you
instant messenger.
in my messenger?
Yeah,
Alright.
Facebook Messenger. Check that.
Because the children have conveniently taken our phones.
Oh. Okay.
Oh,
I figured that's
Alright.
obscure.
Yep.
that's relative. Yeah.
And that. Okay. And that was the rating. I thought it was a little bit more, but
I thought it was more too, but according to what I'm looking on right now, hang on, let me just confirm elsewhere. I mean, I just did a general check on that.
I remember seeing that when I wasn't supposed to.
The ending was surprising.
Have you ever seen that? Nope. All right. I think
Sheltered youth. I lived a very sheltered youth.
It received a little higher first, but it was downgraded also.
Okay. All right. Well, the first person to answer correctly this question will win Trolls World Tour 4K. What was the first R-rated animated film? Answer in the chat.
Yeah, definitely gonna have to Google that one.
Oh, sorry.
I was just doing that anyway.
And I believe this is only for the U.S. and Canada. Let me double check.
Oh, I'm sorry, Cheryl. You are incorrect.
I think I might know it, but I can't say.
Oh,
I love it when they do that. When that the dawning. Thank you, Willow. That was like nice. I love the expression on your face. It was wonderful. By the way, that page you sent the link to, Willow, is that your personal or is that your company?
that's my personal.
Okay.
Just a sec. I have a surprise.
Ooh.
Okay. And yeah, this actually it's only redeemable in the U.S., so you must be in one of the 50 states.
Is anybody watching us in the 50s?
Yeah, well, Cheryl said heavy metal, and it's not heavy metal. Okay.
Well, heavy metal is a good one.
Yes, and it was R-rated, but it was not the first.
Is it? Oh, I can't.
That's okay. Well, when we basically say that's it, we'll.
If there's anybody. Okay, so we are going to have to wrap up relatively quickly because we need to get in the car and make it to the airport on time this time.
Okay, so nobody's answering. So what do we want to do?
We must have stumped everybody.
Okay.
Or nobody's watching us.
Rodney thinks he might know.
It's a guess, but I'm going to say Fire and Ice.
No, Fire and Ice came out after Heavy Metal did.
I got another one.
Okay.
Wizards?
No, but by the same director.
Yeah. Ralph Bakshi.
Wizards also came out after Heavy Metal.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I'm so sorry to do this. I gotta bail out.
Well, we gotta go here too.
Yeah, we're all gonna be.
I'm so sorry, Jerome and Rodney. Very nice meeting you guys.
You as well.
We have to chat more.
Absolutely. The answer is Fritz the Cat.
Fritz the Cat.
Started off as an X-rated movie. Then in '79 they did a redub and edited it, and it came out as re-released as an R-rated film. Okay. Heavy Metal came out in the '80s.
Okay. Yeah, Heavy Metal was a great movie.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I'll chat with you guys soon. Sorry.
Bye, Willow.
Bye, Willow.
You got my Facebook name.
All right. Well, Rodney, it was great having you. And
nice to be here. Thanks for having me on. It was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to go ahead and do those plugs one more time?
Yeah. You can see all that I do at Hazm.com. That's HAZZUM.com. And you'll find all my books there. And go to the Roadkill Rampage Kickstarter that is active live until Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Go like it, share it. If you're not interested in backing it, share it would be great. That's a big help. And that's it. Thanks everybody for having me on.
You have an art page, right?
Yeah, the Art of Rodney Fike on Facebook, Rodney_Fike on Instagram, and Rodney Fike Art on Twitch. And then we do Thursday nights. We do a Thursday night throwdown draw with Sean Forney and myself at 8 p.m. And then Friday night we do a Friday night draw at 8 p.m. on the Sean Forney illustration. So all
On
those
your
links
draw,
and stuff
do you guys have a subject each time, or is it just on the
Yeah,
fly?
we started doing a 30-minute sketch, speed sketch challenge, and this coming week we're going to do DC because the next weekend is the DC, some big thing with DC that's going on. I don't remember what it is. So Thursday night we're going to do DC heroes, and Friday we're going to do DC villains.
They used to call that dueling easels.
Yeah. So that's kind of what we're doing. Last night we did GI Joe, and Sean did Snake Eyes, I did Zartan, and our friend Nate Lovett did Baroness, and all three of them sold.
Excellent.
You can buy them. Yeah, you can buy them during the podcast for $35 for pencils, and if you want inks, it's $20 more. If you want colors, it's $20 more. Price is good during the time of the cast, and which also includes free U.S. shipping. So, yeah.
Awesome.
Well, I'm all over the place.
And Jerome, we know that for this month you guys have been on hiatus, but starting September we can find you back on Saturday morning cartoons.
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, the first show that we come back with is going to be my show. I'm still doing the research on that one. I took a couple of weeks off to do the job hunt because I'm currently unemployed. But you can find us at the Cartoon Crew on MBL Entertainment. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram under Jerome Connor. I'm on Twitter as Connor Hood 1707. And if you have a job, I'm on LinkedIn also. So, so I'm all over the place.
Yeah, and then you're heading back to school soon, huh?
Yeah. Excellent.
Do you have a hazmat, Nicole? Do you have a hazmat outfit?
I do not have a hazmat outfit, but I have myriad of masks that I will be wearing.
We'll get you one of those
with my outfits yet, but
we'll get you one of those, self-contained with the oxygen,
Yeah.
You could be like that John Travolta film, The Boy in the Plastic Bubble.
Oh, okay.
That's obscure. I like that.
I mean, I think they should have put me in a bubble a long time ago, but
Bubble Boy.
Bubble wrap.
Bubble wrap.
But yeah, we go back to school, so I will officially be back the next episode, so there will probably be ranting involved, but I did do a really cool thing. So there's a photographer here in Florida in Longwood he is doing a series for teachers and just kind of talking about the epidemic and us all going back to school. So he had us write a letter to our students, and then he's going to put up a Vine and put up the photos. Our names won't be linked to it, but at least it kind of gives us a view of how teachers are actually feeling about it and about going back to school in any way, shape, or form. So, I mean, we've gone from being the best people in the world to being vilified to now people want to take half of our pay because they have to teach their own children. And I'm just in the middle of it.
All I can say is
back to brick and mortar myself. So
having been married to a high school English teacher, all I can say is to those who are upset that they have to teach it, good luck. You're about to learn that your little kid is not as brilliant as you like to think they are.
Well, in everybody's defense, I understand. Like, I get it. But you messed up probably when they were 2 by not teaching them how to be decent human beings. And that's why they're ridiculous now.
Yep, I screwed up.
So, I mean, like, granted, it's hard for me to teach my own kids, but that's because I am a teacher. And they look at me and say, no, like, you're not my teacher. Like, but I was your first teacher, so I could count. But it is a thing, so.
Yeah.
Well,
I wish the best for you. I know that's going to be a hairy situation.
Yeah.
I think every school that really dove into finding protocol and procedures and things for their school, probably more schools than not are going to have problems. But I feel very comfortable going back to my school. So, and they've been very vocal about plans and kind of the outline of what's going to happen when we come back. So
that's cool.
Well, that was a fun episode.
that didn't talk about animation hardly at all.
Well,
we did.
we
Sort of.
kind of we got lost in the asylum, but it was fun.
Yeah, it was a good
That's
time.
what we did.
All right, guys,
But,
have fun.
Oh yes, next week we're talking about women of wrestling.
Yeah.
That's gonna be fun.
So Terry
All right,
says. Terry says in the comments, though, he says vote in November and make that change. But don't just vote for the president. Vote for your Congress people. Vote for your representatives, because those are the people that are making the changes.
Governors, dog catchers, Secretary of State, everybody.
School board elections. Those people are the people that have their fingers on the pulse of the things that are actually going to maybe listen to their constituents. Otherwise, if you don't get out there and say something, then you don't have a right to complain.
Then you leave it to people like me who hasn't missed an election since 1982. So you don't want me in charge.
Well, since I've been able to vote, I voted. So I voted every time, even when I felt like I was choosing the losing party, which is a lot.
Well, it's off to the airport we go. Thank you for joining us, everyone. We'll see you next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Rodney,
Bye.
nice meeting you.